Welcome back to a quick chat in the Cadillac. My name is SG, and I like to explore the simplicities of complexity. So if you don't know, this is my show. So let me break it down for you real quick. Today we're going to be discussing boundaries, aka what it costs to be the boss. In order to be the boss, you have to give yourself the room to grow. The only way to do that is by protecting your energy, protecting your peace, and setting healthy boundaries. Now, for those of you out here who have already mastered the art of setting healthy boundaries, whether it's because you went through a long and terrible process of trial and error, or because you grew up in the healthiest of homes and you never had a problem with boundaries in the first place, and neither did your parents or their parents, this may not be the video for you. But I'm not going to tell you not to watch it. And for everyone else, let's go ahead and go on this journey right quick. Boundaries are a set of principles, laws, or standards that you have for yourself and your energy, and you set those in order to make sure that those around you and yourself are not actively inhibiting you in your personal and spiritual and emotional and mental growth and physical growth and just your overall well-being. This can create a lot of conflict in your life if it's something that you had not done before. We'll discuss that in a second, but very first, I'm going to tell you why boundaries are important to have and understand. See, you should be setting your boundaries in order to protect yourself and not hurt others, okay? When you set boundaries to hurt others specifically, that's a form of control that's counterintuitive to growth. However, your boundaries need to be reasonable and justifiable in your own words. They need to come from a place of peace and passion. They should not come up from a place of hurt and trauma. Boundaries that come from a place of hurt and trauma and, those type of experiences in the past are meant to keep you from healing. Okay, so let's not get that confused. Boundaries that are set in a state of being, a state of mind that is healthy and peaceful, are ultimately to build and foster respect for yourself, not only from yourself, but from the people who are in your environment and will be in your environment in the future. So let's talk about what happens when you begin to set healthy boundaries. If you had grown up or, been existing previously in a state where your boundaries were not healthy, okay, or they did not come from a place of peace, then making that shift is going to alter your external world pretty damn quickly. And it's most likely going to feel costly, okay? It's going to feel like you're losing a lot. The reason why is because when you exist in a state where you are not already respecting yourself, you're often attracting and existing with other people who feel similar to you. You know how they say great minds think alike? Well, so do hurt minds, or minds that are headed down a destructive path. If you're trying to make a change around your current environment, that means your current environment is going to have to change. So let's say you were existing in a state with poor boundaries. Okay, they were not healthy. They were not set in a place of peace if they were set at all. The people around you will see you now starting to try and set healthy boundaries, strong boundaries, and one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to have to meet you at your level, which you will know and experience as a very difficult thing to do. Keep in mind, neither you nor these people, unless you're one of the lucky few who has a teacher who always will help you learn how to set healthy boundaries no matter how you react, these people around you have been existing a certain way for so long, it feels comfortable, it feels safe. You trying to set new, healthy, and strong, and safe, and peace-driven boundaries is something that's uncomfortable. Okay, it's risky because it's unknown. Most people are not going to take to that too kindly, and I say that, kind of as figure of speech, but it's the truth. Okay, when you set these new boundaries, people are going to see you as acting brand new, acting different, changing, becoming cold, detached. Those are all symptoms of someone seeing you elevate or potentially, falling down depending on the situation. But a lot of times when you're elevating, the symptoms look exactly the same. The only determining factor that tells you it's different is the outcome, but that's a story for another day. Ultimately, it makes it very hard for these people to meet you at their level because now, essentially, what you're asking them to do is take on the insanely difficult task of trying to become a better person. Most people don't feel comfortable doing so because they don't feel comfortable enough to acknowledge that they can even be a better person. The second thing, and the most common thing that will happen, is these people will take your new boundary setting goals and your new boundaries as a personal attack to them and your relationship with them. They're going to see that as you either choosing the other side or working against everyone's groupthink or ultimately just not getting with the program, which is going to drive a stake between the two of you. Maybe not permanently, but at the very least temporarily, until you can begin to see each other and meet each other at the same level. And this is where we begin to see the cost, because you attempting to protect your energy, protect your peace so that you give yourself the space to elevate, grow, and change your life into what you want it to be or what it's meant to be, means that the people around you are going to start looking at you as though you are doing the exact opposite in the interest of what everyone else is doing. And for some very unfortunate people, that means the people around you will begin to actively work to infringe your boundaries or push you back into the opposite direction of going back to the safe, comfortable zone of everybody being just perfectly fine without any growth or progress. Essentially, they want to push you down into that mud pile or that quicksand pit where you're stuck doing the same shit over and over again. And as frustrating and as heartbreaking as it is, you will not be able to make the decision for them to support you in your journey for them, if that makes any sense. And it probably won't make any sense when you're going through it, but you can't make them accept this new version of you. The only thing you can do is continue to uphold those boundaries to the point where there is no other option. The new you is the you that they know. The irony is, once you get past a certain point where it almost feels like there's no return for that relationship, or maybe there is no return for that relationship, that is when they will actually see your growth for what it is and attempt to meet you on your level. But they already are, X amount behind, so even revisiting that means you have to kind of slow down, stop, or even take a couple steps back to meet them where they're at. The irony of life. And this is why it costs. Because not only are you going to experience a phase when you're setting your new, healthy, strong, peace-driven boundaries, where it seems like everyone around you is no longer in favor of you. You're then going to go through a phase where it seems like they're actively working against you. And when you finally break through the glass ceiling and you finally show them what the benefits behind developing these boundaries are, they are now going to attempt to reach out to you and sustain you and support you or congratulate you or whatever the case may be. But you've already gotten so far ahead for you to embrace that. I mean, sometimes even acknowledge that would be taking a step backwards. Damn. Life is cold. But it's all part of the plan. See, because they always talk about, well, you couldn't have me at my worst. Why would you have me at my best? But the truth of that saying is not about, oh, this person doesn't deserve me now. The truth of the saying is about for you to continue down your path of growth. What in the world makes you believe that stopping, turning back around to acknowledge those who are pushing you down in the first place is part of that? How would that be beneficial to what you're currently doing? Now, if you're one of the brave souls who wants to take that task on, because keep in mind, you're compounding difficulty on top of difficulty. It's hard enough to do it on your own. You now have to embrace the idea of practically forcing others to do it as well, even if they can't do it consciously. Whew, a lot of weight to bear. And I'm not going to ask you to bear that weight because I've asked myself to bear that weight too many damn times. And it has slowed my progress quite a bit, let me tell you. But it's something that I do. Maybe it's one of my Achilles heels, so to speak. And if it's any consolation to you right now, maybe the day that you break that glass ceiling, part of your journey will be to help guide the people who are around you in your environment now to the point where they can do the same thing. But I wouldn't focus on that until you have your boundaries established and set in stone. Otherwise, you're just slowing yourself down. So pay the cost, and then you can profit once you're the boss. That's what I got to say. Peace.